Welcome back. Now, Deaf Awareness Month, also known as the National Month of the Deaf, is observed annually in September in commemoration of the first Congress of the World Federation of the Deaf, which took place in September 1951. This year's theme, Building Inclusive Communities for All, seeks to promote awareness as well as equality for deaf persons in South Africa. And with sign language having been already recognized as a home language in the education system, activists are now hoping for it to soon be made an official language in the country. And this follows the cabinet approval of the Constitutional 18th Amendment Bill for the public comment in order to amend Section 6 of the Constitution to officially recognize South African Sign Language as the country's 12th official language. So to mark and honor Deaf Awareness Month, we're joined now in studio by a very special person, the reigning Miss Deaf SA, Kereese Kuppan. And Kereese, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sakina. How are you? And thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited.
Well, I'm excited. And I think, you know, just to speak to our viewers in terms of how interesting this is, because I think we take so much for granted, and it's not often that we have someone with who's hearing impaired or deaf in studio. And we were struggling just to get the seating right here because we moved Ntabiseng from here to there and here, and then we realized, no, Kereese needs to see Ntabiseng and Ntabiseng must interpret. So it's been very interesting, but thanks so much for coming through.
It is my pleasure. And it's my first time actually doing an interview here.
And we love that you are here. If you're wondering why Kereese's crown is on the table and not on her head, it is because while she's signing, the crowd tends to move around and could potentially fall off as well.
Yes, it's possible, eh?
So, Kereese, let's talk about, you know, Miss Deaf SA. So, you were crowned recently, and, you know, what has it been like for you to be crowned Miss Deaf SA, and also the expectations on your side from not only yourself, but also the community, deaf community in South Africa?
So far, it's a big opportunity for me. Because personally, I never thought that I will compete for such an honored event, you know, and then because there's a lot of things that I had to learn, and as well the deaf community and Deaf Awareness Month. And then I felt like, oh my God, wow, you know, there's a lot of things. I'm part of it. I'm so honored to be part of this community. I also had to create a deaf network because people like assume the deaf community is very small. And I met a lot of people, which made me very proud to be a deaf person. And also, because when I grew up, I didn't grow up fully deaf. I was voicing a bit. And then now, being Miss Deaf South Africa is an opportunity for me to learn a lot of things, you know, like, I don't know how to explain it, because it's like, it's a blessing on its own to be part of Miss Deaf. Because now the main aim that we want Miss Deaf and the hearing Miss South Africa to be equal. That's what we're fighting. We're fighting for equality. And we want also the hearing people to learn and understand that it's very important, especially this month, Deaf Awareness Month, because this is who we are, you know. And also it's an opportunity for deaf people also to shine, you know, like to show their talent, the type of work that they do and how they feel, and the support to be motivated as well and learn. But I've been learning a lot, eh?
You know, I'm so glad we have this opportunity, because the things you say are things perhaps that ordinarily we don't think about, because as you say, it's a small community and it's easy to literally go unnoticed and push to the periphery. But you were born in Stanger, and your parents had to move up to Johannesburg just so as to give you a better opportunity, a better chance at life. Let's talk about that, especially, you know, in a country where you have vast rural areas where if a child is born deaf, you know, the odds are stacked against them. What can we do better as South African society overall?
My aim also is for the associations that are there, EDEF and DEFSA, you know, like we have to create awareness to support deaf children, because it starts when they're young, you know, making sure that they receive education when they are young, not for it to be accessible in other areas and not in other areas, because that will also help us. Because it is a small world, because we're not exposed to information. And we need, South Africa is very big, you know, South Africa is very big, and we need that. And I feel like as deaf people, how do I explain this? We don't want self-pity, man. We just want to be involved. We just want us to work together, help us help each other type of setup, you know, support us. Because if now, this awareness that we're creating for deaf awareness, it's about us, you know, to saying that we here, this is us. Thank you.
And you're so right. And this is why we're having this conversation. We had Miss South Africa here a few weeks ago. And, you know, when I saw your crowning, I thought, you know, it would be good to have a Miss Deaf SA in studio as well. You speak about equality. And if you think about the sort of resources that are available, what would you like to see happen first and foremost? Let's take your reign. If money was not a problem, if you could tap into the resources, what would you do first?
My dream is just to lobby for deaf people to be included, you know, to be included in every aspect of life, because this is who we are. We just need access. You know, we're fighting for access. We're fighting for a language to be recognized. We're fighting for deaf people to be included in job opportunities so that they can contribute to the economy of the country. It's a forever non-ending fight, you know, because we are a community, we're there. But I just want to make sure that we're comfortable. I want to see deaf people being able to access job opportunities, deaf people being able to feel like, you know what, we're the same, we're equal. That's what I want.
We are, and I'm glad you are opening our eyes to this, because, as you say, all you ask for is inclusion, but very often we forget. What would you say, for you personally, Kereese, has been the most difficult aspect to navigate as you were growing up as someone who's deaf?
Growing up, my parents, like, we had a good life, you know. I grew up with good mannerism. My parents has taught me to not feel like left out. You know, my parents had to learn sign language so that they can communicate with me. So I've always been included in my family. And then, but other people are not as lucky as me, because their parents, they don't know sign language. So you find that as a child, you go home, you can't even communicate with your parents, because there's a barrier there in that communication. But I was very fortunate, and which is very important, you know.
And of course, your message to South Africa, as you say, we're not going to say only to South Africans in the deaf community, South Africans overall. What is your message to them during this Deaf Awareness Month?
We, deaf people, we don't need pity. We just need you guys to accept us and just be aware of the deaf community. Give them access. Give us access. Give us interpreters. Give us interpreters at the universities, at the colleges, you know, so that, because now we feel like, you know, we are a burden. We don't feel proud of being who we are. We're feeling left out. Please include us. Include us, please. You know, and we just need you to be aware that deaf people are also important, you know. The only barrier that is there is just communication. Just learn sign language, respect us, please. You know, so that we can feel like, we can feel loved, supported, motivated as well. And I want that, that's all I want. So I wish that I can achieve that with the Deaf Awareness Month.
You know, Kereese, if we can walk this path with you, we will as far as we can. And thank you so much for coming through and also just gracing us and, you know, this crown now. As we come to the end of the interview, I'm going to put it back where it belongs. I hope I'm doing this correctly. And there you have.
Thank you so much, Sakina. And thank you for making sure that I'm here, for inviting me.
You are absolutely gorgeous, and thank you so much for coming through. Kereese Kuppan is the reigning Miss Deaf SA, and she joins us here in studio. And as you can see, she needs to look at Ntabi Singh so that she can understand what I am saying. But I'm so glad we had this moment, and hopefully we can all learn something and make sure that we include people who have disabilities. And as she said, they don't need our pity. They just need us to accept them and be aware, and also just create those opportunities. Kereese Kuppan.